Good day, Ma'am Atoria and everyone. My name is John Victor D. Acero, and together with my group mates Andre Molato and Mark Daniel Orteza, we are pleased to present our study entitled Blocks to Corps, a Roblox-based farming simulation for teaching Philippine agricultural practices, botanical safety, and sustainable food planning. Over the next few minutes, we will walk you through the background of our study, the problem we aim to solve, our review of related literature, and the research design and methodology, which we will use to develop and evaluate our system. Thank you in advance for your time and your insights. Now, let us begin with the introduction. In advances in digital communication and interactive media have transformed the way education is delivered. We have moved from passive text-based instructions toward active, experiential engagement, and one platform driving the shift is Roblox. What used to be seen purely as entertainment has evolved into a versatile space for user-generated educational experiences. Our study applies this idea to agricultural education by translating biological and environmental principles into interactive game mechanics. Learners can experiment with soil preparation, water distribution, weather adaptation, and crop identification, all without any real world risk. This is especially relevant because as our cities grow, more and more people, especially children, are becoming disconnected from where their food actually comes from. This disconnection is not just a matter of curiosity. It has real safety implications too. In the Philippines, where agriculture is central to our food security, many urban residents, like here in Manila, especially children, no longer know how to distinguish safe, cultivated, native plants from unverified or toxic wild species. This is a genuine safety hazard for young children who may explore local flora without proper guidance. While serious games already exist for disaster preparedness and also environmental policy education, we found that the application to localized agricultural education remains underexplored. Like most farming simulation games use generalized or non-regional crops and oversimplified growth mechanics that ignore real tropical weather variables. But I've known some games that has real tropical weather, but not what term can I put it into. It has not been set yet fully operational. Uh, so this is the gap of our study intends to fill by building a Roblox simulation which is tailored specifically to the Philippine crop such as petchay, kangkong, talong, sitaw, and kalabasa. Complete with dynamic tropical weather, realistic seed timers, that it may took a long time. We will we will adjust this time. And botanical safety mechanics. On our theoretical conceptual framework, our study is anchored on two theories called experiential learning theory and Vygotsky social constructivism. On Kolb's theory, it describes learning as a four-stage cycle. First, concurrent experience. In our game, this is when players plant native seeds and manage water and soil. Secondly, reflective observation. Players monitor crop growth, seed timers, and weather impacts. such as cold weather, dry season, and rainy season. Third, abstract conceptualization. Players begin to deduce the optimal growing conditions and foraging rules. And lastly, fourth, active experimentation. Players refine their care strategies and learn to avoid toxic wildlands. This cycle repeats and deepens with every play session. On social constructivism, meanwhile, it explains the intergenerational desire for fighting because Roblox is accessible to both youth and older demographics. It will not be only exclusive on the adult. Also, the platform naturally enables collaborative learning while parents and children can play together. And they could discuss plant care and reinforce agricultural safety concepts as a shared activity. On the statement of our problem, broadly, this study aims to develop and evaluate block sports, which is a Roblox-based online simulation game designed to teach children and adults to live in agricultural practices, botanical safety, and sustainable perspective. Specifically, we seek to answer these three research questions, which is the first, what system design, features, and gameplay mechanics, including built-in crop selection, weather variables, shift timer, and botanical safety systems. Are these necessary to construct an effective educational farming simulation in Roblox? The second is, how do child and adult participants evaluate the games in terms of usability and system mechanics, educational content realism, user engagement and motivation, and botanical safety awareness. Third is there a significant difference in participants' pre-test and post-test scores? Are they gonna learn from it? Or are they gonna gain new experience on it? Disregards on living crop cultivation principles and plant identification after exposure to the Roblox simulation game. On our hypothesis, to address our third research question, we will test the following hypotheses at the 0.05 level of significance. For our null hypothesis states that there is no significant difference between the pre-test and post-test knowledge of participants after playing the game. On our alternative hypothesis, this states that there is a statistically significant increase in post-test knowledge scores after exposure to the simulation. Next to our scope and delimitations. Our study covers the software development of a single interactive 3D simulation which is built in Roblox Studio using low scripting, along with its empirical evaluation. The game mechanics are limited to 5 native built-in props and to be updated on the future release. These crops are pechay, kangkong, talong, sitaw, and kalabasa as I said before. And this has a dynamic tropical weather cycles which is heavy rain, extreme sunlight or dry spells, and balanced tropical weather, which is scaled seed to harvest growth timer, and a botanical identification mechanic that differentiates the safe domestic vegetables from toxic wild plants. We choose to exclude advanced industrial agricultural concepts such as a chemical pesticide formulation commercial machinery operation, or expert logistics, as these fall outside the scope of basic literacy education. Magiging sobrang advanced na nito, kaya ayun lang yung pinili namin mechanics. It's since our study was just focused to giving the youth and adult some ideas on what they can pick, or mga pwede nilang itanim. Our testing will involve a purposive sample of 30 children aged 8 to 12 and 30 adult parents or guardians, all residing within selected urban communities inside Metro Manila.
Significance of the study. This study benefits several groups. Students include gain basic agricultural literacy and develop critical awareness of toxic botanical hazard in their surrounding. Parents and adult learners gain an engaging and shared digital activity that supports intergenerational bonding and practical knowledge for home. Gardening, educator and curriculum developers gain an ethically validated model for integrating sandbox game into science education. And game developers and researchers gain design guidelines for building localized, cultural, and relevant serious games. Let's proceed to our chapter 2. Review of related literature. Our review of related literature look at the two conceptual areas: digital gamification in environmental literacy, and intergenerational digital media grounded in social constructivism. Prior research showed that serious games elevate retention by turning abstract concepts into active problem solving. For example, game focused on carbon tracking and resources management have been shown to promote long-term behavioral reflection. Among related studies, Arakawa and college showed that serious game improved retention of survival and hazard mitigation skill compared to the traditional lecture-based instruction. Jin and college, along with Wayong Stayas and colleague, showed that mobile and digital learning media increase engagement with safety protocols, and then Han and Ben Der Bort, along with later thematic reviews, confirmed the serious games are effective tools for teaching environmental policy and sustainability concepts to the non-expert audience. However, as our research matrix show, the existing literature cluster around disaster mitigation games, global climate simulation, and general sustainability titles. What is the missing is a localized platform-specific application. Few of any study use Roblox especially for regional agricultural education. This is precisely the gap that Blackstroke crops address by incorporating Philippines native crops profile, modeling dynamic tropical weather pattern, and integrating botanical foraging safety mechanics.
Now, let us walk through our methodology. Blackstroke crops will be developed by developing iterative game development lifecycle, system architecture design, prototyping, playtesting, and refinement. On the technical side, the game architecture separates the client side, which handles the player HUD and user input such as watering, planting, harvesting, and flora scanning. From the server side, which runs 3 core Lua U scripts, the plant growth system for seed timers and growth stages, the weather engine for cycling rain, sunshine, and dry spells, and the botany safety manager for validating edibility and toxicity. Players' progress is saved through Roblox data store service. For our research design, we are using mixed methods approach, a pre-experimental one-group pre-test and post-test design combined with a descriptive evaluation survey. Our data gathering follows for phases, which is phase 1 is pre-game assessment, where participants complete informed consent and a 10-item baseline knowledge test. Phase 2 is interactive gameplay, a guided to 20 to 30 minutes session covering planting, weather management, and flora sorting. Phase 3 is post-game evaluation, where participants retake the 10-item knowledge test and complete a 15-item game evaluation survey. And Phase 4 is data processing and analysis, where we run our statistical test. And our target respondents is total 60 to 30 children aged to 8 to 12 and 30 corresponding adult parents or guardian selected through purposive sampling within Metro Manila.
For our research design, we using a mixed method approach of pre-experimental one-group, pre-test, post-test, and design profile. With described evaluation survey, our data gathering follow 4 phases. Phase 1 is pre-game assessment, where participants complete the informed consent and 10-item baseline knowledge test. Phase 2 is interactive gameplay as a guide 20 to 30 minute session covering planting, weather and management, and flora sorting. Phase 3 is the post-game evaluation where participants retake the 10 items knowledge test and complete a 15-item games evaluation survey. And Phase 4 is the data processing and analyze where we run our statistical test. Our target respond totally 60 to 30 children aged to 8 to 12 and 30 correspondent adult parents or guardians selected through purposive sample within Metro Manila. Research instrument and statistic treatment. We are using 2 instruments. The first is a 10-item multiple choices knowledge. The test administered as both pre-test and post-test covering Philippine crop requirements, tropical weather management, growth timing, and forage safety. The second is a 15-item game evaluation survey is using a 5-point life scale structured across 4 domains: usability and mechanics, educational consent realism, engagement and motivation, and botanically safety awareness. Both instruments will be validated by a panel of 3 experts: educational technology specialties, an agricultural scientist, and an elementary science curriculum consultant. And the survey reliability will be established through a pilot test using Conbranch Alpha targeting a threshold of at least 0.70. For statistical treatment, we will use weights, mean, and standard deviation to interpret survey response across the 4 domains, and a pair sample t-test to compare and pre-test and post-test score at the 0.05 significant level in order to test our null hypothesis.
In summary, Blackstock aims to bridge a real gap between digital gameplay and practical localized agricultural knowledge, giving Filipino children and adults a safe, engaging way to learn crop cultivation and botanical safety together. We believe this study contributes both a practical educational tool and a validated design model for future localized series games. This concludes our presentation. We are now happy to answer any questions or clarifications from the panel. Thank you very much for listening.